So I am looking for, okay, I think I found it. Okay. So it has been 6 years since I first experienced COVID lockdown. And I just feel like this time of year now is kind of bringing up a lot of things for a lot of different people. Um, whether they are actively aware of it or not. It's bringing up a lot of things for a lot of different people this time of year. For a lot of people, March around this time is when they got the news that everything was being locked down. So we're 6 years post. Okay, we're now 6 years after. Um, and today, all I could really think about and all I could really process was a lot of emotions of gratitude, was a lot of emotions of thinking about where I was at that point, thinking about where I was at during COVID, thinking about the lows that I experienced with all of the isolation, with all of the uncertainty, with the job that I had at the time, with the inability to be able to process my emotions, with not being a fully realized and actualized person, with being separated from my loved ones, which I'm sure that people, of course, and I know this for I know this as fact, people experience as well. The job that I had at the time was being a date coach for Match.com, and as COVID progressed, we started to have a coronavirus line. Now, the weird thing being, we could not say COVID, we could not say coronavirus, and we were encouraged immensely to try to keep it to date coaching and try to keep it fun and nice. We were having people calling us from New York, calling us from these big cities, and wanting to talk about the real crisis at hand and what was going on, talking about, hey, we have neighbors that are dying. We have neighbors that need to be carted out, right? It's beginning to be awful. That's awesome, Jacqueline. Okay. So, it's one of those things where, we just, it was a very surreal experience of having this. Cancer's awful, absolutely. I agree with you. It was this experience of just having this incredibly awful thing that we're having a hotline for, you know, working for Match.com, and yet we're not even allowed to talk about it. We're having this coronavirus hotline, but we're not allowed to say COVID. We're not allowed to say coronavirus. We're not allowed to say anything. They want us to keep it on point about date coaching. Well, people are calling us and crying about people dying around them, you know? So I'm really grateful for being, now 6 years out, not being in that job. um, going back to pretty much how I started my adult career and working for myself, and being able to do what I really love, and not being a coach, but being able to help people and help people in the way that I, know that is best and has to do with the skills that I currently possess, right? Um, it's just so bizarre to think that it's been that long already. And like I said before, this at this time of year, this is when a lot of things have been coming up for a lot of people. And I'm getting a lot of like, well, why? Why is that? I'm like, well, this is about the time the lockdown started about 6 years ago. So your body keeps a score. And I've said this before, your body keeps a score. Your body remembers, right? Your subconscious remembers. A lot of things are cyclical. We're going to have experiences that are going to be traumatic for us. The isolation, the deprivation in some senses for some people. Hi. We're going to have these experiences that are going to stick with us. But again, I awoke today And the only reason that I even knew that it was the anniversary of the lockdown, at least for my city at that time, which was San Antonio, Texas. Um, the only reason that I knew was because I put it in my phone for some reason. And I was like, that's bizarre. Why would I even do that? So for me, it was the 24th, which is today. That's just for my particular city at that time. Um, it was insanity. I remember us having to move to remote work and having a day to do it. I remember just losing everyone, right? All contact and how that felt. And it's not an experience that I had alone, though. This is a shared experience with so many different people, but it's a shared experience of isolation. So it makes it incredibly strange. Thank goodness that we all had technology so we could all keep, in contact with each other for the most part. But there were some people that, were having internet issues, that were having problems connecting. So it's complicated. But I awoke today and I realized that I had gone through a really hard time with it initially, a really difficult time with it. But there was a podcast that I listened to and I continue to listen to, and that I've been a patron of on Patreon for a long time. And they are called Necronomicon. And at one point during COVID, it got really, really dark for me, to the point of the isolation, the darkness, the inability to connect with people. I felt like I was just getting more and more depressed and more dark. And I really contemplated making an attempt of something that would have really damaged a lot of people in my life, and would have really just been a very impulsive and very stupid decision to make. And I was listening to them and they just started laughing and they were joking around. And, hearing them laugh, hearing them, speak, hearing them talk about stuff that I'm interested in. I like that podcast a lot. And I think that it's a fantastic podcast to listen to if you're into humor, if you're into things that are more, like paranormal and cult type of stuff, the occult as well, true crime, um, things of that nature, missing people, things like that. But they make it interesting because they bring humor to it while never disparaging the victim and never, making it a negative thing, right? They make it fun to listen to without bringing it dark. Oh, that's just because I'm not wearing concealer. I'm not wearing a lot of makeup. And yes, I do need to have more rest in my life. Unfortunately, what's going on is I'm experiencing a medical issue, which I thought had kind of cleared up today. I was at a 2 with my pain, and I kind of went a little bit too hard today, and I was very happy to not, having pain. All right. And immediately after doing the yard work, the pain came back. So yeah, I went a little bit too hard today. But trying to kind of silence that type A personality that I tend to have sometimes. You can definitely drop some bars in the comments. I have no problem with that. I am totally okay with that. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Um, but I just felt really led to just talk about this because a lot of people are going through this. You can actually rap. Okay. Wow. And thank you so much for that compliment. I appreciate it. Jeff, wow, you should really record that. That was really dope. You should record that. That was awesome. And if you don't want to record it, then at the very least, hi. Hi, Erica. At the very least, well, it'll be on here forever, so there's that. Um, but you should definitely write it out and find a rapper to rap it. That's amazing. That was really good. Thank you so much, Erica. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So yeah, so back to Necro. Necronomipod is just something that really got me through COVID. It's gotten me and been a constant patron of theirs for at least 5 years, if not 6 years. Um, and that's really all I could, fully experience today is even though it's the anniversary for me personally of my city at the time being locked down. I missed those comments, guys. I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses on because every time I have my glasses on, the ring lights reflect off of them. So I do apologize. Sometimes I miss them. Um, however, I just ended up feeling today a lot of gratitude. Whereas in the past couple of, and I haven't even really noticed it or paid attention to it. When it comes to the month of March, I get this really like uncomfortable feeling. I get this really like sticky feeling inside of me, like a really just like oh, like a gross like a dread almost. And I haven't put two and two together, and it really didn't occur until today. And I was like, oh, that makes sense because my body remembers, my mind remembers that time period, that long ass time period of being isolated, of being away from my family, of having to get tested for COVID, and then uh, being told that my results were inconclusive. So I had to isolate from everyone for 2 weeks. And I was coughing, I was having all these symptoms, but again, it was inconclusive. So I don't know if I had it or not. I'm not sure. And my job as a remote worker for Match.com and being a date coach was being on the phones. So I had an incredible supervisor at that time. His name was Dave, and I still follow him on Instagram, and we still support each other. But uh, he was like, "Well, it's okay. You can do profile review, right?" And I was like, "Okay, that's great." So it was something that I could do that I wouldn't have to use my voice. So I could still work. I could still provide a living for my one child that I had at that time. Now I have two, but at that time I had one. So, but today it was just different. It was just I remembered. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, "I may not have been here if it wouldn't have simply been for like that one moment, that opportunity of hearing people that I found very comforting at that time, just laughing and joking around. Just that split second, if I wouldn't have heard that, if I wouldn't have tuned into that and been just so focused in on my own negativity and my own perspective of negativity, right? So sometimes what we can do is we can kind of hone in on something that makes us feel better, something that's a comfort, something that's familiar, something that's grounding to us, whatever that may be. And sometimes we can hold on to that when we feel like we're going dark, or when we feel like we're losing our light, or when we feel like we're going through something that's very, very difficult and very, very challenging. You're not necessarily going through it alone. The other thing that I really like about Necronomipod is that they are very active with their fans. They are very interactive with their fans. And yeah, I just feel so much gratitude because there truly could have been a chance that I would have been so impulsive that I I wouldn't be here if it hadn't have been for them. And you just never know the impact that you could have, even if you're just doing a podcast and you think it doesn't mean anything to anybody, or you think you're just cracking jokes with your friends, or as they say, with their pallies, and you can think that you're not having an effect on somebody, but you never know what a simple kindness, what a gesture of kindness, or what a joke, someone dropping bars. You never know what that can do to somebody. That's a very interesting hot take. Um, I would say that that's pretty inaccurate, but that's a hot take. Yeah, that's a hot take. Thank you for that interesting feedback. Inaccurate, but interesting. So so yeah, I've spent the last year, year and a half, um, you know, going through what no one knew was a physical health crisis. That was something that was affecting my mental health, that was affecting me physically. Um, I couldn't read a book and like absorb the information. I couldn't work out. I was so fatigued. I mean, there was all these things that were going on. So on February 16th of this year, I was prescribed a heavy duty antibiotic. Aw, thank you for asking. He's sleeping right now. So that's why I'm live streaming from my iPad. Talking about a workaholic. So, but yeah, daddy. Thank you so much, Eric. Wait, who is that? Stitch Harmony. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you to say. So, oh yeah, I guess let me provide some context. So I have a boyfriend, and for his privacy, we just refer to him as Daddy. uh, he he just calls me Jenna. Which I will admit to you guys, that is not my real name. I use a pseudonym for reasons that I'm not going to go into because I have boundaries. Um, but yes, so oh, that's just the matching shirt that I wear. That's a wonderful question. I think that because for a long time I was not being authentic and I was not being my true self, and I felt like I had to pander to a very large audience because at times it would just seem like people were kind of coming at me, and I didn't know how to take that. I didn't know how to deal with that type of energy. Underneath everything, I'm an incredibly sensitive person, but what I had to learn is that at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If people are watching me, that's their choice. It's my choice to live stream. It's my choice to do this, but it's other people's choice to watch me and to continue to watch me. So clearly, I'm fascinating enough to troll, or clearly, I'm fascinating enough. There's clearly something about me, right? If people are going to make negative comments and keep on going and going and going, clearly, I'm interesting in some capacity, or there's something broken in them. And that's the biggest thing, is that I don't want to ignore trolls. I don't want to be rude to people. What I want to do is try to understand, why are you like that? Right? What wound do you have that needs to be healed? Because that's where it's stemming from. People can say it's not that deep, it's not that serious. It kind of is. It kind of is, if you're going to put so much time and energy into it. What changed? Honestly, so being put on Bactrim, thank you so much, Stitch. I appreciate that. Being put on Bactrim and having my stack of medication work properly. What I will say is that what I did do to help with depression, because I thought it was a mental health issue, I was not aware that I was dealing with a major infection. But that's not the source. So we're still trying to figure it out. Tomorrow I actually go in the morning for a repeat blood test, and then on Thursday a sonogram, and then on Friday I get the results of both of those things. So that we're going to find out what the solution hopefully is going to be on Friday. So it's kind of a waiting game. As far as why I'm having pain in my lower abdomen, we don't know. They did a CAT scan. I was normal. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Stitch. So, it's just it's kind of a confusing time. And, but yeah, I was put on Bactrim. And, but anyways, before that, back in December, starting in November of last year, I started on a ketamine treatment called Spravato. And having the insight that I received being on that treatment, going through it, experiencing it, having the level of insight that I was able to experience, being able to kind of step back a bit and analyze my life and process traumas that I had experienced in a different way. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's all Timu, you know. No, I'm actually sober, and that's actually helped a lot too. So I also have an autoimmune issue. Dollar Tree Brittany Snow. I'll take it. That's funny. Thank you so much for that. Oh man, that's a rough one. That's funny though. That is pretty funny. I got it. I've got to give you that one though. Good night. You take care, Steve. Um, so I think just being in pain. Oh, anxiety. Yeah, anxiety can come up in the body in a lot of different ways. It really can come up in the body in a lot of different ways. Your body's really going to speak to you and let you know what's going on, and it's going to take time to figure it out, like what things mean. What is DSL? What does that stand for? What exactly are you meaning? That's a wonderful question. I know what it would be, and I'm not going to say it because it's incredibly controversial. And people really wouldn't understand why this would make such a big difference. You think so? Okay. Well, all right. If that's what you think, I'm not going to try and change your mind. It's wordplay. Cult of wellness is a joke, right? The idea that we have to strive to perfection, the idea that we have to waste our resources, which is time, energy, and money. Right, because cult of wellness is a joke because I have sense of humor. But okay. Yeah, Philemon. So that's kind of this is what I will say. My radical idea that I really don't want to talk about, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways because I am not going to continue to live in fear about the ideas that I have. And if people want to judge me, they can judge me. That's their call. That's their choice. Everyone, I think, is entitled to have freedom of, um, everyone's entitled to have their own opinions. And I really wish that our country just could have more of a dialogue and less of a confrontation. Um, what I will say is that I believe that all of the tax exempt statuses for churches, all of them at the same exact time should be revoked. All of them. And then be reevaluated. So that way, actual cults like Scientology could be held accountable for the taxes that they owe, the billions of dollars that they owe, and then our government, the American government, could get the money that we're duly owed. And that would be a way to increase our revenue. So I'm not saying to revoke it in its entirety forever. I'm saying to revoke it for everybody for a little bit of time, yes, it would hurt. Um, but I guess, that would be something that we would just kind of depend on. Are they doing more good or more harm? You know, I mean, a lot of these religions are documenting themselves, or maybe just get rid of tax exempt status altogether for these religions. Fair game. Can you remind me of the fair game thing because I am blanking a little bit. It's been a long time since I've really gotten into it. Okay, I saw something about Gwyneth Paltrow, and that's all I saw. Endometriosis. Okay, I am 37 years old. Mhm. No, of course not me. No, of course not me. Why would I? That's not my place. This is just my idea. And I'm not saying that it should be carried out. I'm just saying this is just what I think would be a good idea. Not saying that it definitely is a good idea. Hello, Scott. I think there's room for discussion, but I think that if you're litigious enough to where you're suing individual people in the IRS to get the tax exempt status, that doesn't sound like a church to me. You know, I mean, we do have a government, don't we? We have checks and balances here in America, at least. It may not seem that way to anyone right now. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of confusing ideas out there. Politically, I am out of the game, right? I don't watch the news. I stay out of all of that stuff simply because I find everything to be incredibly upsetting. Seeing the way that people are treating each other, seeing the way that people are having a dialogue with each other simply because they can't get along with about their political views instead of sitting down and having a conversation. I don't know why you keep on asking me why I'm going to be the determining factor. Right. So like what happened to that journalist? I'm blanking on her name. Let me think. Tony Ortega has talked a lot about it. It's a government of the people. You are correct. It is a government of the people. That's why we have voting. Hmm. Yeah. But even his website has changed a lot. Last time that I kind of checked it out, it's very different. So I don't know if they scared him too. I don't even know if I'm gonna get sued for even having this dialogue right now. Matt, you're free to not listen to me. You're free to leave. You're making a choice right now to invest your time into this. So that's on you, bro. That's not on me. Anyways, so yeah, I spend the majority of my time being very careful and to curate. Hi, Wayne. Welcome. Um, I spend a lot of time being very careful to curate what I do intake, just like a lot of people will spend a lot of time being very careful to curate what they take into their body and stuff like that. Yeah, we kind of have some. Oh my gosh! Welcome from. Okay, well, welcome from England. Welcome from Greece. Oh my goodness! Welcome. Hi, hello. I'm so honored that you're watching. That's amazing. Um, yeah, it's just kind of more about I think for me at least I am glad for every single mistake I have ever made because they give you the opportunity to grow. Goodbye. Love and light. You take care. Right? So, what we want to do is we always want to be cognizant, right, of the way that we're communicating with each other. We always want to be cognizant of if somebody's getting triggered by something that another person is saying, that is not on the person that is triggering them, that is on the person that is getting triggered themselves, right? Because something's going on inside of them. Happy Tuesday. So, that's another thing just to kind of keep in mind, right? I appreciate everybody that wants to jump in and get defensive, but you don't need to. It's okay. I've been live streaming now for a little bit over a year. I have a pretty tough skin these days. That is true. You got me on that one. You got me on that one. You are correct. What I'm meaning to say is I with so much respect, I appreciate it is what I'm trying to say. Um Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Oh, that's me too. I am in Texas. I am in Texas. Anything that I've changed, the biggest thing that I've changed really just has been kind of reconnecting with who I was prior to COVID. Yeah. Oh, Dallas. Okay, okay. I am close-ish to the San Antonio area. New subscriber. Oh my gosh, welcome. Hello. um but yeah, and just choosing to kind of see. Hello, alien. Hi, Jason. Oh, hey, Texas. Welcome, welcome. So my content for the most part was based on like doing fitness videos, things like that. I do wear leggings when I am doing. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. That's nice. Yeah. See. So the other thing about Necronomicon that I love is they talk conspiracy theories. So if you can tell, I get a little bit excited when we're starting to talk conspiracy theories, but that's not really what my channel is about. So maybe I should start another one. Okay, yeah, one of my best friends is in the Houston area. So, mhm. But yeah, so it's really just about really aiming just for progress. Oh no, I'm wearing jeans. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would just say that there's always opportunity for growth. You are not going to always get a second chance from people, but you can always give yourself a second chance and a third chance and a fourth chance and a fifth chance. Um, my biggest takeaway is be your authentic self. That's okay. You don't have to be able to spell, right? Do you know what her favorite colors are? And what store are you at? Because I might be able to help you with the brand. Tim, I'm very sorry to hear that. Yeah, Jason, what store are you at? I might be able to help you with a brand. Oh, she likes black? Oh, that's awesome. When I face adversity, um, I just keep up my bubble. Blue and black. Oh my gosh, I love blue and black too. Oh, so this is an art print that I got at a thrift store. There was actually a set of 3, and I do have a little bit of a regret of not getting all 3 of them. That's a very random question. I'm not going to answer that, actually. San Francisco, that place holds a very special. Exactly, that's very good advice. Love yourself enough. Acceptance is the first step, and then being able to love yourself, right? So, not loving yourself or accepting yourself for who you want to be in the future, but loving and accepting yourself for who you are right now. Okay. Well, Tim, what often happens is that we're reflecting, right? We're going to be projecting out what we're seeing in the mirror ourselves. uh, sorry. So, the thing is that you need to be able to accept yourself for where you are right now and love yourself for where you are right now. And it's not an easy process, it's not an easy journey in any capacity. I spent many, many, many years hating myself. I spent many, many, many years having all this really negative self talk about myself. I spent a lot of years being a people pleaser. Sorry, I grew up with a stutter and sometimes it still comes out. And I shouldn't have apologized. I should have just said it without apologizing. I'm still working on that. Um, yeah, I've just kind of learned that you should just be yourself and just be authentic, right? Thank you. Um, when things are scary, when you have fear about things, that's usually a sign that you're going to grow. Right. Yeah. So I'm more about promoting growth and progress than anything else, right? And not all the time, like constantly, but gym, I can only imagine. I don't even know. And yes, being alone is difficult. Yeah, I'm in a long distance relationship and that's difficult. Warrior, I am so glad to hear that for you. That fills me with so much joy for you. That's awesome. It's not my place to measure good. And I know that everything that I do has repercussions. There's only one person that can judge me. If God hated so many things, like a lot of Christians like to say, then God wouldn't have allowed it to be made, I think. So I don't know. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. Well, when you're going to consistently talk down about yourself, you do need to take accountability for the way that you're speaking about yourself. You do need to take accountability for being in victim status mode. When you see yourself as a victim, when you're acting like a victim, when you're speaking like a victim, no one's going to be attracted to that. And I'm not saying that to be cruel to you. I'm not saying that to be mean to you. I'm saying that to you because that's where I was, right? I was in a very like, woe is me. Thank you for letting me know that my teeth are yellow. I appreciate that. um, hi. Right. So I guess back to a question that was asked earlier, like, how do I get through things sometimes? Is I just remember only God can judge me, or only my higher power can judge me. Whatever works for you, whatever you believe in, or only the universe can provide an answer for me, whatever works for you, right? Because I'm not here to um, throw something onto somebody. I'm not here to try to claim to be something that I'm not. All I can tell you is that I believe in my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's all I can say. but I don't associate with any type of organized religion for a reason because of judgment and because of the way that I was treated in certain churches for having tattoos, for being different, for being alternative. I've been through a lot of difficult things. Um, I've talked about some of them recently, actually. Very recently, I've been super honest, like to a fault where it could get me in a lot of trouble. Um, yeah, like I am willing to have a discussion with a person that doesn't agree with the Bible 100% because, hey, guess what? I don't agree with the Bible 100%. I have questions, I have doubts. I don't think that means that you can't believe in Jesus as your Lord and Savior. I wasn't raised Catholic, so I don't believe in the idea of confession. I do believe in asking for forgiveness. In third grade? Wow. What'd you do? I was put into a Christian school when I was in a what, first grade, I guess, and I just believed. Right. So, how I justify certain things in the Bible is I see it as parables. Right. Jesus Christ loves you. I agree with that statement. But I also don't believe in saying that over and over again to somebody constantly and alienating them from Jesus Christ. You could. That doesn't mean that I'm like like I'm not going to be up to par on it. Do you come to the knowledge of the truth? What is the knowledge of the truth? What does that mean to you? That's the best way for me to ask any and all questions. I like clarity. What does what you're putting in text right now mean to you? Because I do not have the opportunity to understand the nuance. I don't have the opportunity to hear the way that you're speaking, and I don't have the opportunity to hear the way that you're intending for yourself to sound. So I have to automatically assume that you're wanting to have me say something that, I just don't know. I do not actually. I don't. No, I don't. I'm saying that you can choose to see it as parables. You can choose to see things, right? Yeah, I like that too. Merit. I believe that there's some things that have merit and some things that don't. I think we all do. I mean, there's different versions of the Bible. Thank you, Hafix. There's the King James version. There's ESV. There's others. It's not my job to educate you on the Bible. That's not what my channel is about. But you can look it up. There's a whole bunch of different translations. I don't really like to talk too much about my personal religious beliefs. I just like to say, because it's authentic to me, that no, I don't believe that he's the author of confusion. I understand. Take care. Mm-mm. Was not raised Catholic by any means. By any means. Oh, now that song's gonna be stuck in my head. But yeah. So this idea of Never mind my sister. I think that's a little harsh though. Some people have I do not identify as a Christian for a very specific reason. If I were to identify as a Christian and then turn someone away from Jesus, that would um, be awful of me. So I do not identify as a Christian because of that fact, because people do not see alternative people um, as people that can hold that title of being a Christian. Thank you for that. It's very open minded of you. Ethan, it's nice to see you too. Hey, hi. It's not so much that I worry about what other people think. It's just that I know that I have my vision of oh, another Ethan. Is it Ethan Hunt again? Is he stalking me because I talked about Scientology? Shit. Tom Cruise, get off my live stream. It's an old joke. Sorry. But yeah, so and that Scientologists can't be on the internet. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. I try to be when I can be. I try to be when I can be. You may be correct. Sometimes I'm just free flowing and talking. So I'm sorry about your turtle. Yeah, I think that when you're a parent, you can't always be 100% honest about things, especially when your children are small. I think that sometimes you have to kind of sugarcoat things for sure. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. I have a lot of areas of growth for sure. Hi, for oh my gosh, Queens, that's amazing. Have you ever done research into Scientology? Have you ever even just watched the documentary? I think I'm gonna stop the bar or stop the whole conversation on. Oh, thank you. That's so kind. I'm gonna kind of pivot from this conversation on religion. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely your opinion for sure. Yeah. So it is by Alf. I'm probably gonna butcher the name. Alphonse Mucha. It's called Job. I found it in a thrift store. Thank you. Yeah, I love to go thrifting, so it's fun. I enjoy it. When you have kids, you definitely can't go nuts and crazy. So, but I do enjoy fashion. Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you so much for educating me on that. And no, I've never been associated with Scientology. I just have always found cults and um, the reason why people come together for communal gatherings to be very interesting. Thank you. Yeah. I do not paint, but I do candle wax art on rocks. Really? That is so interesting. I'm not. I've just probably within the last week haven't gotten very much sleep. I have not traveled very much. No, not at all. I'm neither. I'm actually sober. Just experiencing a lot of pain right now. But you're entitled to your opinion. I can't change it. I'm not going to try to. So I think so. Yeah, I think it's a great way to. So I create content. I was doing wellness coaching, but I stopped that at the moment. Right now, I'm just trying to get more certifications and um, work on growing this brand. I guess I should say I need to get it LLC'd, and yeah, yeah, I can definitely post some of it tomorrow. So, I love horror movies, or I used to love horror movies. Again, these days, I'm very careful to curate what I allow myself to be around. Yes, and yes. Thank you for that. Yes, I am very pale. That's very true. I have an autoimmune condition, and I have to be careful with how much sun I'm around. So, but thank you for noticing. And welcome if you're new. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, so thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm kind of lost in thought right now. I'll be honest with you guys. I have not slept a lot. It's been a long couple of weeks. I do on my TikTok. So or no, I actually none of me making anything. um 50s music. I'm not really up to date or current on 50s music. Oregon, oh my goodness, one of my best friends is in Oregon. Shout out to Eric, who will never watch this, but shout out to him anyways. He's like, I'm tired. Yes, we do love you, Eric. Ireland! Oh my goodness, that is so cool. So for me, it is 10:27 p.m. So I'm going to be hopping off in about 8 minutes. Yeah, because I do need to try to get some rest. But yeah, I just really wanted to share my experience of bye of being really grateful for today and being really grateful for my experience of getting past COVID. Well, happy belated birthday. I'm in Texas actually. I would need more to go off of than that. I don't know who Chuck Sherry is. I'm not really I'm not super educated on art. For the kids of Minneapolis, would you like to? I would actually. Enjoy how what feels. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Texas, yes. Fantastic. Yeah. I honestly am very careful with what I listen to. You as well. You as well. Thank you. West Coast, the best coast. Ozzy's music. Okay, I will try to remember that. I will try my hardest to remember that and try to check you out. I do know who Buck Cherry is. For sure. San Diego, hey. Dallas, Arlington, hey. Hi. I don't know what Marfa means. I'll try my best to remember. Can you repeat it one more time? I'll just go. I'll come back and look through the live stream if I need to. But yeah. All right. Yeah, I got to wrap it up in about 5 minutes. Yeah, do that. Leave a comment on my last video. That would be perfect. Thank you so much for doing that for me. I appreciate you. Really? Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that I am drawn to aesthetically that I don't know the backstory of, or, and I love to learn more about stuff that I'm drawn to that I don't really know much about. So I really appreciate you guys helping me out. I love lights. I love lights. So when I was a kid, I was born in 1989. Um, there is these things called bubble lights. I don't know if anyone knows what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Still, Caitlin, thank you so much for that information. I appreciate it. And bubble lights, they were really cool, but they would overheat quite often. Thank you. I got it at a thrift store. I appreciate that. And they would have like what looked like water inside of them, and they'd be like bubbling, but they would also have light in them. So I've always been drawn to lights, drawn to things, but that have lights. However, sometimes there's a power outage or sometimes there's whatever. So I like to be extra prepared just in case. Also, it tends to get very dark being out here. And so out here where I live, so we have windows over here, and if I need to see and stuff, or kind of know like where stuff is at, I can just look out the window and I can see all my candles because they're flameless. Yeah, I was in 7th grade when that happened. That was tough. Hi. I wouldn't know much about that. I haven't studied it. Yes, candlelight is so pretty. Real or, not. This is so it's really funny that you say that. So what I do in either the morning or the evening, it just kind of depends on what's going on, is I actually have a joke character named Blair that is a witch from the projects. So yeah, that's a whole other story, and that's on TikTok. Yeah, so what I do when I'm turning these on and off is I am saying prayers, or I am thinking of someone and hoping that they're having a good day, or sending them positive vibes, whatever it may be, right? It's different for every single person. I have a lot of people in my life that I care about. I'm very blessed in that way. So thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Um, but yeah, I enjoy humor. I enjoy being funny. Wow, that's great. Well, that's definitely something that's going to be memorable for some people. All right, y'all. Well, thank you so much for joining me today on my live stream. I greatly appreciate you, and I appreciate the dialogue that we were able to have. Thank you for the most part for everybody keeping it very respectful. I really appreciate that. We definitely had a lot of interesting conversations, and typically on my live streams, we kind of go into different realms and different, places. So yeah, please feel free to like, subscribe, and or join one of the membership tiers, as it is beginning to pop off with content again after being gone for some time due to a medical condition that I wasn't aware that I had. So, and still don't even know what it is. We're finding out this week on Friday, hopefully, fingers crossed, or pray, or whatever you do. But yeah, thank you again very much. It's been very polite, and thank you very much. I appreciate all the well wishes, and I'm gonna rest up. But yeah, just really try to remember, if you're feeling anything and you're not really sure what's going on. Um, it could be because of, this is around the time about 6 years ago when the shutdown started to occur. So if you're feeling any kind of like weirdness or feeling like depression, and normally you're like, this is not making sense because spring is happening or starting to happen, and why is this happening to me right now? Your body keeps a score. So your body is remembering trauma, or your body is remembering difficulties, if you're in an area that experienced a lockdown. So that's a definite possibility. Yeah, for sure. But anyways, yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and it's been an honor, and I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, night, afternoon, morning, whatever it is for you in this current moment.